Hey everybody, I hope you are all doing great. I know it's been a while since my last upload, but I've been busy with non-photography projects in the past 6 months. I'm hoping that this will change very soon. In this video, I'd like to show you guys a handful of images that I selected a couple of days earlier. These are gonna be bird shots, so I'm not gonna waste your time. Let's get into it. So here is the selection that I was telling you about. I'm gonna go through the images species by species just to create some structure. The first one that I wanted to show you is the Australian magpie. So this is the first image. This is a composite, an action sequence shot. I took 7 separate frames and then I stitched them together in Photoshop. Very easy subject selection technique, and I used the Magic Wand tool. Magic Wand tool? No, whatever. I think it's a Magic Wand tool. I can't even remember. I'm no expert by any means. Just to sample the color, and I filled up an empty frame, and then I just copied and pasted essentially. This Australian magpie was chasing a brown goshawk. It must have been nesting nearby, and was obviously bothered by this small raptor, by the presence of the brown goshawk, and it was swooping at it a couple of times. I took this one in the backyard, by the way. If you zoom in, you can see all the different positions or poses. This 4th frame is by far the best or most ideal to show off its beautiful feathers, the detail in the wing. Next shot is the same species, as I said, the Australian magpie. Why am I not drinking? Oh, much better. So this Australian magpie was collecting materials. You can see a piece of twig or vine in its beak. So it was probably building a nest somewhere nearby. I couldn't spot it. Oh, in the corner I just noticed a small insect, most likely a mosquito. So this was taken just at the local wetlands, or not so far from it, where I usually take most of my bird shots when I have a little time in the morning. That's where I tend to go. The catchlight was nice. You can see the reflection in its eye. The background was a bit cluttered, not ideal. Some highlights, but it's still decent enough. Ideally I would have been a little bit lower to the ground at eye level, but it is what it is. At least I got the shot. So this is the Australian magpie. Next one is gonna be, this is one of my favorite bird species because of the long neck. This is a snake bird. Well, that's the colloquial term, but it is a what is it? Australasian dada. And look at the size of its neck and the long, sharp, pointy beak, which it uses for fishing. This is a water bird. Unbelievable. You know what I like particularly about this bird is the pattern on its wings. I took one shot where I just zoomed in on its wings, and I chose black and white, and it looks absolutely amazing with the repetitive pattern there. Looks very abstract. This is my most detailed shot of an Australasian dada, in-flight shot I'm talking about. Fortunately, the lighting was, side and top, because as you can see, there's barely any detail in the wings, but I still like the image. I think it's really decent. The light was nice. Not the angle, but nice soft light in the morning. Next one is the same bird species of the same series. It's really nice and detailed. Beautiful species. Anyway, let's get to the next one. This is actually, I believe, the exact same bird that I was telling you about in the first image. This is the one that's been lurking around in the area or became a resident, the brown goshawk. It's a very small, well, relatively small raptor in mainland Australia, and it's a gorgeous species. This one was actually chasing pigeons because we have so many doves, especially spotted doves in the area, and that would be their primary target or one of their preys for sure. This is a composite again, 3 different positions as you can see, and if you zoom in you can see the beautiful yellow iris and the talons and the amazing pattern again in the wings. The wingtips looks beautiful as well, and the tail feathers. So the second frame is the nicest, I believe. Oh, this one is really good as well, as it was coming in. So this is the brown ghost hawk, and then just let's have a look at the individual shot here. Zoom in on its head. Such a beautiful raptor. This is probably the only raptor that I captured in such detail so far. We don't have many in the area, but I'm hoping to take many more shots. One of my one of the species that I'd really like to capture is a wedge-tailed eagle. They're gorgeous and so magnificent and massive, obviously. Maybe I will go back to what's the name of the national park? Not the Yarra Ranges, the Yuyangs, and they apparently have plenty of that species around, so looking forward to taking some pictures of the wedge-tailed eagle. All right, next one. Okay, let's have a look at this duck species. This is a chestnut teal. As I said before, ideally, oops, shut up. No notifications, please. As I said to you before, ideally with all wildlife shots and bird shots, you'd like to get down really low at eye level at least with the bird, just to create more connection. But sometimes I prefer to shoot from unusual angles to highlight certain features that you would not normally see. This bird looks absolutely amazing. I mean, look at the eye, the vibrant emerald green in contrast with the punchy, vibrant red. It's crazy, or scarlet, whatever. Gorgeous. It's a male, I think. It is a male for sure. Alright, next duck species. So here we go. This is a Pacific black duck, but I'm gonna go, yeah, let's start with this. So this was a sequence of 4 images. The lighting wasn't ideal. I took this at around 11 o'clock in the morning. As you can see, the light was coming from the left, and I had to recover plenty of detail on the right side. But it still looks pretty decent. I don't think I lost that much detail. If I zoom in, you can see the noise level creeping up, but it's not too bad at all. So you can see individual water droplets there. It was coming in for landing, and then the wings were shut here a little bit more. Yeah, prepare for landing. And then the third frame. This is the frame that I like the most because of its wings fully expanded or extended. Really nice. And they are pretty friendly, not that timid. They're used to human presence because a lot of people unfortunately feed them bread, which is the worst. And then here it is, just touching the water. About to land and splash. So this was the Pacific black duck, and I believe that's the only other duck species that I captured. Yep. So let's go back and check out this one. This is a common bronzewing. This bird was actually foraging in the car park at JL's Park, and I got really close to it. And this is my most detailed headshot of a common bronzewing. I probably should have, in hindsight, taken this shot at a higher f-stop, because the feathers, or the detail in the feathers right here, show relatively low sharpness. So by creating, you know, more depth of field, by choosing higher f-stops such as f9, would have been more beneficial. The reason why I kept this image, it's nothing special, but what I particularly like about this one are the background colors and how they are matching the colors of the feathers of the bird, and just creates cohesion. It's really nice. I like that. Okay, so this was a common bronzewing. This next one is a spotted dove, and finally I got really decent background with no clutter, homogeneous, beautiful pastel brown color for great separation. The light was amazing, and what I like about this shot, besides the extreme amount of detail, even though the 1DX Mark II, by the way, I forgot to tell you that all of the shots were taken with the 1DX Mark II and the EF 100-400 f5.6 zoom lens, which is an amazing lens, by the way. Absolutely love it. It has tremendous sharpness, great autofocus. Not in the same ballpark as a 400mm prime, obviously, in terms of sharpness mainly, but it's still a very good lens. So back to the shot, just crazy amount of detail in the tail feathers, the claws. You can see the bit of dirt stuck on its claws. And what I really like about the frame is the slight motion blur in the wingtips, and the beautiful catch light in its eye as well. So I'm really happy with this in-flight shot. I really am. So this was the spotted dove, and let's jump into something much more colorful. The eastern rosella. I can't believe how colorful this species is. I mean, look at that. The yellow and the beautiful vibrant red again, and the gorgeous blue on the side. Crazy. This was taken at the local trail, again not so far from where I live. I feel so privileged and lucky to witness these gorgeous animals essentially in my backyard. This was taken at another time. The light was not as good. It was overcast. I mean, I like to shoot in overcast or on overcast days, but here I had to up the ISO a little bit and recover shadow detail. And this was perched in the shade on a dead tree. Next one, here the lighting was a little bit better, more ambient lighting, so if I zoom in you can see the noise level is not as bad. Yeah, background was nice as well. Head tilt could have been better, but the next one is so cute. I probably should have upped the exposure in this one. Maybe I'll go back and then just add a little bit more light to the head area in Photoshop. I really like this pose. Looks so cute. It's probably having a bad day, a bit of a headache. Such a gorgeous bird. I mean, again, the colors are just so amazing, splendid colors. And I believe this is the last shot of the series. A bit of eye contact right there. Hey, what's up? What you looking at? Beautiful. They're usually very timid, so very, very difficult to get close to them. Right, so this was the eastern rosella. Okay, a more common bird, water bird, is a Eurasian coot. This headshot is probably my most detailed headshot of a Eurasian coot. Was taken at the Kaikourk Lake Park. Beautiful area again. All Melbourne, by the way. All of these shots were taken in metropolitan Melbourne or suburban Melbourne. Beautiful catch light in its eye. Beautiful red. Next one, Eurasian coot scooting across the surface of the water. I find these shots, these type of shots, when the bird is flying or moving towards you at a high speed, to be able to focus, you know, just right on the eye or on the head area. Preferably just use one autofocus point or just a small zone in the center for these shots. Just utilizing the most sensitive autofocus points, which are usually in the center. This is a nice image. Nothing spectacular. Again, the lighting wasn't ideal because it's just too much shadow on the right side, but still a keeper, I believe. And then the last image of the same species I really like. This looks a bit painterly to me, just because of the colors. The lighting was just gorgeous, soft, warm, early morning light, just foraging in the shallow waters at not just Kalkrug Lake Park again. Oh, I hadn't even noticed there was a feather right there, just floating on the surface of the water. Part of its head was covered by the foliage, but I actually like it. Just adds to the atmosphere to me. And then you can see the blurry silhouette of another one right in the background. All right, next one is gonna be another another parrot species. This is a Australian king parrot. This particular one, I believe, is a juvenile, because the plumage, I never know. The plumage wasn't fully developed. Shot on an overcast day, but the noise level is not too bad actually. In the past 2 or 3 years, I actually spotted quite a few, sometimes even small flocks. And these shots, the next 3 or 4 shots, I absolutely love. I'm gonna zoom in and show you guys all the detail. I got really close, about 1.5 meters to this Australian king parrot, and I was just blown away. Such a beautiful bird. Look at the iris, the yellow, and the tremendous amount of detail in the feathers. A little bit of blue right there. Next one, a little bit of different head position. You can see it had been foraging or eating something. Stuff is stuck on its beak. And then here with a bit of a different position again. So cute. This last shot I really love as well. You can actually see maybe the reflection of me as well. Probably, but definitely reflection of the of a tree nearby, and the fence, because there was a fence just right in front of this one. I will probably create a different version of this shot. I go back to Photoshop and then just remove the clutter and just clean up the image. I really love the background color, so I'm going to utilize that and probably clone out quite a bit of foliage, branches, and then might be able to come up with something a little bit more what's the word, simplified. Okay, so that was the king parrot. Next one, laughing kookaburra. I only included these shots because if I zoom in, and these shots are nothing spectacular, but look at that. Caught it's either a small rat or a large mouse. So this is the first time I actually captured a kookaburra with a prey, and I believe it was still alive because I saw some movement, a little bit of a wiggle. Next one is very noisy. I think I took these shots, in-flight shots, at ISO 1600, but it should have been ISO 6400. I was at 3200th of a second, so I messed up the exposure a little bit. I had to increase the exposure in post, and when you do that, you introduce, much more noise. But it is what it is. At least I got the picture. Poor mouse. And then the last one here, it was perched on a branch. Still looks cool. I wish I had taken this at 600th of a second and probably 800 ISO or so, and this would have been about 3 times less noisy. Anyway, so that's the laughing kookaburra for you. It's a massive bird, largest kingfisher, I think, or one of the largest kingfisher species. The beaks are enormous, humongous, gargantuan. Another parrot species coming up now. These are Musk lorikeets, and the next few shots are my most detailed portrait shots of a Musk lorikeet. They are even more timid than rainbow lorikeets and tend to be usually up high, really high up in the canopy of eucalyptus trees. That's where they nest as well. The colors, again, I'm not gonna describe. I mean, just you can see it for yourself. Just amazing, absolutely awesome. Here again, not the most optimal head tilt, but the colors of the background and the light was really, really nice. So I definitely love and decided to keep this image as well. Gorgeous catch light in the eye. Next one. This is a heavily cropped image, but I really like the dappled lighting, or the partial lighting, where the sun was only shining on its head and part of its breast. It was yawning, I think. Cute one. These birds are about 30-40% smaller than the rainbow lorikeets that I'm going to show you a little bit later on. That's the third image of a Musk lorikeet. This was its nesting ground. They tend to use hollows, and then they use their beaks to enlarge or widen, create more space in those hollows for the nest. So cute. It's just unreal. Alright. This shot I really like because of the 3 layers, the background, the mid layer, and then the foreground layer. You can see all the damage that they tend to do to the barks of the trees. Little rock star look. Must have had a little bit of a bath, as you can see. All the feathers were ruffled. And you can see, yeah, definitely, you can see little beads of water on its beak as well. Alright, next one. Oops. I think that's it. Yeah, so that was the Musk lorikeet, the 4 shots that I chose of 5. Next one was just a relatively common bird species, a noisy miner. I took this one in the backyard one late afternoon, and it's relatively detailed. This one was just flying right above the rooftop of our next door neighbor. Alright, next one. This is a magpie lark, or colloquially known as a peewee because of the call that it makes. It's a very, very raucous, very, very loud bird. Its call is very characteristic. You can identify it rather easily. We have 2 residents right now in our backyard since I did a bit of cleaning, removed a lot of green waste, and they love to just forage on the ground, look for insects. You can see detail in its mouth as well, or the palate, all those weird, I don't know, tendrils, whatever. If I zoom in, wasn't happy with me for taking the shot. It was perched on the fence. The colors were really nice, finally. Managed to retain plenty of detail in the feathers as well. The background was homogeneous, and really like the soft pastel colors again. Here, it's just looking down. And this one was taken at another time. Beautiful backlighting. This is the first time in a long time that I actually took shots with proper, relatively soft backlighting. This series was taken in the backyard. I got really low. I was creeping and crawling on the lawn and didn't seem to be fazed by my presence. It was pretty chilled. Again, was looking for insects. If I zoom in, you can see individual, not hairs, but small feathers. They look like hairs to me. And also the beak becoming translucent from the backlighting. Alright, next one. Yeah, just a different shot of the same series. Light was gorgeous. I really like the bokeh and the fact that by having a very shallow depth of field, you blurred both the background and the foreground, and only a very, very small section of the frame is in focus. The bird was, I'd say, 1.5 meters away from me, and the minimum focusing distance is 90 centimeters with the zoom lens, the 100 to 400 f5.6. Here the focus was not perfect on the eye. Oh, it's not too bad actually. So as you can see, only a very small part of the bird is in focus, and the rest of them is all blurred out. Yeah, it's a bit clipped here. Could use content aware fill, which I tend to use if I mean, obviously you don't want to use it ever, but in this instance I could have just fixed the tail right there by using content aware fill. But it's not too bad. It's not distracting at all. This is a very detailed shot again. Yeah, I had to recover a little bit of shadow detail, and you really gotta be careful with these highlights, because as you can see, I mean, this is a very high dynamic range shot with plenty of shadows and blown out highlights, but it's still not bad. I mean, the highlights were not completely blown out, but pretty close. Oh, excuse me. And then 2 more shots. Sorry. Yay. So this one was a cropped version of the first series that I showed you. It was still on the fence right there. Peewee going mental, shouting, screaming at the top of its lungs. Alright, and this is the last image. So I've covered these, right? Yep. And then now we go to the purple swamphen. This purple swamphen shot was taken at J.S. Park at the Conservation Island, or somewhere nearby. Again, 3 or 4 months ago, I believe, maybe in April. And the reason why I included this is because I was really, really close, and I got some tremendous details of its beak, and then all these beautiful indigo blue, I believe, feathers, tiny feathers. You can see a blade of grass, a piece of blade of grass stuck on its beak, and all the imperfections, textural imperfections of its beak. It's pretty cool. This one was taken at another location. I was just chilling on a bit of, I don't know, a small island with a couple of Pacific black ducks in the background. Excuse me. So if I zoom in, you can see a bit more detail. Alright, and then another shot of purple swamphen. I mean, check out those glows. Jesus. Holy hell. Oh my god. This is crazy. I mean, it's essentially a small velociraptor from Jurassic Park. Crazy. Just crazy. They use their longer claws quite efficiently by walking across water plants very easily. They can balance themselves really easily. Very skilled. Again, the light was beautiful. Wasn't perfectly focused, unfortunately. A little bit of motion blur, but it's not too bad at all. Alright, so that was that. Oh, sorry. Huh? Excuse me. I thought that I finished, but I still had two more shots of the same species. So this purple swamphen was foraging, as you can see. Just the way it's positioned, just looking down, searching for bits and pieces on the ground. Let's zoom back out and then go to the next one. And this is one of my most detailed, I believe, headshots. Oops, my tummy is rumbling, excuse me. As you can see, all the detail. This is one of the things that I absolutely love about photography, even macro photography, the plastic macro photography, because, you know, with the naked eye, when you are out there, you don't realize so many things. And then you come back and then you upload the pictures, and then you zoom in and you find just intricate details, and sometimes I'm just blown away by certain features. It's unreal. Alright, common species coming up. Rainbow lorikeet on a feeder. Nothing extraordinary. In hindsight, I should have increased the exposure a little bit more. But what I really liked about this shot is the head tilt, or the positions of both of these birds, so similar. It looks like a kind of a mirror image. Let's go to the next one. Another rainbow lorikeet after it had taken a bath. Looks a bit crazy with all the feathers ruffled. Preening itself or cleaning its beak. Another shot on a bird feeder. The light was amazing, and that is why I included this particular image. It just pops off the screen. This high contrast image. Next one, in-flight shot, unusual angle, but it shows off its beautiful feathers, and also normally you wouldn't see, you know, this underside of the bird. I really like the colors as well. This was taken one morning. I had to recover a lot of shadow detail because the light was coming from top and from the left side, as you can see, where the light is catching these leaves. I really like the pose in this single branch. I think it looks nice. And this shot, wow. I mean, I'm so happy with this image. Excuse me, I shouldn't have my hand in front of my mouth when I'm talking. If I zoom in, you can see plenty of detail in the head area. Little feather right there. Bit of food between its beaks. Very shallow depth of field. I was about 1.5 meters again from this lorikeet, and the reason why I like this shot so much is because of the light. The light was amazing. Only parts of the bird are lit up, but there's still plenty of detail even in the darker areas, and the colors just pop off the screen again. The separation between the background and and the subject is great. That is why I love it. I already had it printed, a small print, but I'm probably gonna get it printed and framed, probably 60 inches or something like that. Maybe not 60 inches, sorry, 60 centimeters, so about A3 or A2 size. A2 size should be good enough. So again, I'm really happy with this shot. Probably one of my best in-flight shots. Definitely right up there. I have 3 in-flight shots of a rainbow lorikeet that I'm really happy with. Maybe I will create just a video for all the shots that I have taken so far of rainbow lorikeets. I've always loved that species. I've always been mesmerized by the whole spectrum of colors that they have in their feathers. Just gorgeous, gorgeous. All right. Then the last picture of the same species. A little frisky lorikeet on the left side, as you can see, just playing around on a branch, on a dead branch. This one was taken at the Giles Park. The light was really beautiful. That is why I kept this image and decided not to crop in too much. I wanted to show off the environment. Sometimes with bird images, a lot of people tend to focus just on the birds and not on their environment, and they zoom in completely and get all these detailed shots, and that's fine. That's obviously, that's what we all do the majority of the time. But sometimes, if the environment is conducive to creating something balanced in terms of framing and it looks nice, then I like to include everything. So in this shot I barely cropped out anything. Alright, so that was the rainbow lorikeet. We've covered the spotted dove. This image is nothing special, but this is my only in-flight shot of a straw-necked ibis. I was taken at Giles Park again. Most of the ibis species that I've captured were the Australian white ibises, the more common species in Australia. And here you can see the iridescent green right there, which is a characteristic feature of the bird. So that's the straw-necked ibis, and let's go to the next species, superb fairywren. These are tiny little bush birds, and I had struggled to get close to them so many times. I've missed opportunities to take pictures of them, and I was so stoked that finally this one didn't seem to be bothered by my presence whatsoever and flew pretty close. The light was beautiful, plenty of detail, even in the highlight areas. Gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. So cute. So I'm gonna go through these. Oh, tiny little Tyrannosaurus Rex. Screeching, screaming. Looks funny. This is a bit more cropped than I'd like it to be, but I was a bit further away when I took this shot. Another picture. This one is probably one of the most detailed ones. Yep. Wish it had looked at me or turned its head a little bit more. Just like this one. This one is really nice image. The only thing I don't like is this white spot or patch. Somebody was walking behind in a lightly colored jacket, so oh well. Wasn't perfect, but it's still really, really nice. Cute, cute. Look at its eye. Beady, black eye. Catch light is great. Alright. One more. just from another angle. Turn to the other side. This is the last shot of female superb fairywren. Last species that I'm going to show you guys is the yellow-tailed black cockatoo. I took this series in April, late April or early May. A few hundred meters again from where we live. I had not seen this species at the local bush for quite some time. I had only spotted them once, maybe several years ago, and I was so stoked to see a whole flock foraging. They were actually looking for grubs and wood-boring beetles under the barks of these trees, and they made an absolute mess. If you want to check out the video, I recently uploaded a video, compilation of clips to the channel, and you can see how crazy they are about removing barks in hope of finding something nutritious. So this first shot, I really like the lighting again, plenty of detail. This is a cropped image. Unfortunately, I was a bit too far away, about 40-50 meters, maybe 30 meters away from the bird. The background wasn't too cluttered, and the colors were nice and soft. Here you can see, I mean, check this out. Nothing is left unturned, so to speak. Just destruction level 100. Another portrait. Yellow tail, you can see here, and this patch, this yellow patch, makes it look so cute. Funny. Oh wow, look at all the wear and tear on its beak. I hadn't even noticed that before. Alright, next image. This is an in-flight shot. I have a very similar shot of a rainbow lorikeet where you can only see the wings but not the head. If I zoom in, you can see more detail in the tail feathers right there. Very nice. And I've got two more shots. The light was only catching the wingtips and this part of the wing, the left side of the wing. I had to recover a lot of shadow detail because it was actually flying in the shade, but I still like the pose, and the noise level is not too bad, so this is definitely a keeper. It looks a bit two-dimensional, don't you think? There's not much depth. I don't know, it looks like a sticker. When I first saw it, just because of the angle, it was completely parallel with the what's the word? Focal plane. I have no idea what I'm talking about, but you know what I mean. And then the last image showing a bit more of the environment, and this actually doesn't look like a big bird, but they are rather large. I'd say 40 centimeters in length. So this is the last image that I wanted to show you. We're finished for today. Thanks a lot for watching this video. If you enjoy the content, then please hit subscribe and the like button. See you guys next time.